Filecoin to $20, Filecoin to $30, Filecoin to $40. It's impossible to actually predict the price of Filecoin. It literally is damn near impossible because everyone's prediction isn't actually lower, which is strange. But that's not me saying Filecoin is actually a bad project. I think it's a great project. I'm actually going to tell you why it's impossible to predict Filecoin's price in this video. And I'm just going to do a little bit of angel and devil as to why Filecoin might be a bad choice right now in the current market, and just how the market is trending in general, and just the good side of Filecoin towards the end of this video, just to give a balanced view on it. If anyone tells you they can predict the price of Filecoin and it's significantly higher than it is right now, they're absolutely lying to you. And I did a similar video on this before, but I'm going to be touching on a couple of other data points, and I just kind of want to hammer it home because I'm still seeing a lot of videos out there and even articles from kind of big publications saying that the price of Filecoin is going to be $30 or whatever they're predicting. It's just physically impossible. Guys, before we get into it, if you do like the videos and the information I provide, just hit that little subscribe button. It makes me go to bed happy at night knowing I have one more, even if it is a tiny number so far. Also have a Telegram group with absolutely zero going on in there right now, but first 100 members will get access to a paid group that I do in the future, just as a thank you for supporting me from the start, because it means a lot. But anyway, let's get into it. So I'm just going to take you through a little example. Don't lose me here, just stick with me. If we go to GBP to Argentinian peso, and we take a look at this bad boy, okay? We've got a flashy little icon here. Go away, podcast. Not interested. Wow. I mean, look at that, right? So £1 equals 1,106 Argentinian pesos, which is pretty crazy. And why is that? That is because Argentina has insane inflation. It has one of the worst economies. And if you guys don't know, you've probably heard it a lot in the news. Inflation basically means that the money is worth less. Basically, they're pretty much printing it a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that can influence inflation, but let's just say for the sake of this, to keep it simple, they are just printing a lot of Argentinian pesos. So let's get back to crypto. What makes a crypto project go up? Well, a lot of people buying into the project will obviously drive the market cap up, and in general just drive the value up. We have that one way. But for most crypto projects, they are actually deflationary. So as things are going on in the chain, crypto is burned, reducing the supply of crypto. And then obviously, as we know, our governments are always printing money, whether they're printing a lot or a little, they're definitely printing something. So as the supply of a crypto goes down and the supply of the pound or the dollar goes up, then the crypto in general becomes worth more because there's more of the pounds and less of the crypto. So we get something like this with the sterling Argentinian peso, where we just see an increase of value. Now, where does this come into the price prediction for Filecoin, you ask? Well, actually, Filecoin is massively inflationary. If we take a look here, we can see that Filecoin's inflation rate has experienced a substantial uptick, hitting 44.4% in the last 6 months. That is insane. Let me just put that into perspective. The inflation rate in the US went up to around 8% and everyone was losing their shit. In the UK, we hit 11% and everyone was panicking that the price was going up. So if you're hitting a 44% and you're hitting that regularly, you get something that looks a little bit like this, which is not good. So as you would have guessed, this is my argument against Filecoin, if I haven't lost you there. Let's take a look at this for example. So this is the circulating supply of Filecoin, and this is the total number that was mined. This is the number that is vested, and we can see that the circulating supply of Filecoin is actually rapidly growing, which is a bit of concern. But why are they doing this, you ask? Well, this is actually a long story. So back when Filecoin was first sort of released, they had a big issue. And if we take a look at the price of Filecoin, if we see up here, we were up to the $183 mark. And that was because people were storing junk data on the network. And to counter this, Filecoin basically introduced the Fil Plus program, and what that essentially did is it offered 10x block rewards to people who were offering storage deals. And what that essentially did, it offered 10x block rewards to storage providers who would vet and store useful data. And this basically got rid of this issue here where everything was going up, and I talked about why they were doing this on a previous video. But essentially this just gave massive block rewards to storage providers to basically keep them on Filecoin and storing useful data. But the problem with this is if you're giving 10x block rewards, you need to get that Filecoin from somewhere, and they're literally just printing it. Think like your government printing a ton of money. Filecoin are just printing a ton of Filecoin, just giving it out as block rewards. It's essentially the US government just giving out these massive checks that they were doing to anyone and everyone. Obviously these people are doing work a little different, but ultimately they're massively inflating the chain. And why they are doing this is because they want to grow their user base. They have basically reduced the cost of storage next to nothing. So you'll find a lot of reports that Filecoin is actually significantly cheaper than all other storage providers, and that is because they are basically subsidizing by just offering massive rewards in a lot of Filecoin. But this is why they're actually making less money. So actually if you take a look at some of their reports, and this isn't, again, it's significantly down. Sorry if I'm just making some muffles on the mic, but yeah, it's significantly down, and it's just to the demand side reduction. Even though they're incentivizing rewards, that revenue is still down. Enough about why Filecoin is a problem. The good side of Filecoin, and like a lot of cryptos, they're still in their infancy, but Filecoin is actually one of the highest generating revenue protocols out there, which is pretty impressive. And actually if you look at these revenues, it may seem like Q4 is awful, but Q1 is generally one of the best, which again is actually quite strange. And actually if you take a look at some of this report, you can see that active deals are up 9%, actually doesn't matter. Utilization increased 18%, which is quite good, but storage capacity fell 14%. My point here is that Filecoin is pretty unrivaled in this sort of decentralized storage. Because they don't actually own the machines, there is very little maintenance on this. So I see the potential for them to actually keep prices quite low because they don't have all of this infrastructure maintenance. It's actually on the person to do this. And if people have free storage, then it's kind of going to happen. And actually, if you take a deep dive into a lot about Filecoin, you can actually see that that platform is actually very difficult to use. People say it's really hard to extract data, difficult to interact with the platform. And why I'm saying that is a good thing, because if they just sorted that out, they could see massive influx of users. Like, they've got all these people using it, they're making all this money when that product sucks. Like, it literally is rubbish. Like, it's barely usable for what it is. People would just be using it a lot for like Arctic storage because it's super cheap to store. So they have the potential to sort this out and grow rapidly. And a lot of crypto projects, we've seen that Solana has actually integrated with Filecoin to basically enhance historic data accessibility. And this was actually one of the reasons why Filecoin actually pumped quite a lot in the recent period. This is when that sort of news came out. But again, I don't know if this is because of inflation, but it struggles to find new highs. By my opinion, you should be exposed to a lot of narratives. I know obviously it's kind of in the deep in narrative, but so you could actually be invested in something like Render, but they're kind of very, very different things, right? Render's more for like the GPU decentralized side, whereas Filecoin is more on the storage side. So there is a lot of data, and data is rapidly increasing, and we need a place to put it. So most crypto projects will ultimately turn to Filecoin, and Filecoin is a true contender for that. Now, in my opinion, it's good to have some exposure to Filecoin. In a market where we're trading massively sideways, it's kind of against you, because obviously if it's inflationary and it's going sideways, ultimately it's going to go down because it's not getting any more investment, but the circulating supply is going up. Do I see this inflation ending? I mean, if they had a lot of storage providers that are already hosting good data, maybe they could reduce the rewards there for like existing clients, stuff like that. So I would have some exposure to Filecoin, but one, just don't believe these price prediction rubbish, because literally impossible. And two, I mean, you should, like I say, you should be diversified across a lot. I think it's good to hold some Filecoin. I wouldn't be going all in it. Still think it's a great protocol, but it has a lot of issues to iron out. It's kind of caught in the cycle of giving all these big rewards, hoping that they're gonna keep growing, but they don't have a great product. So they just need to solve one of these problems, and then suddenly they will start to see a good rise, hopefully, and then maybe they will reduce that inflation, and then suddenly we will just start to see some burning of the token, and it will start to rapidly grow up. Because if you think about it, it's managed this kind of growth even though it is massively inflationary, which in some light is actually kind of impressive. So one to keep an eye on, guys. But yeah, personally, I'm not massively exposed, but I have a bit. It's still one of my favorite projects, but I just don't like the tokenomics, and I don't love the kind of web it's stuck in of its problems. It's got a lot of problems at the moment, so I'd love to see some of those ironed out. But anyway, guys, if you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment if you hate me, if you love me, if you love the video, if you just want to comment about random stuff. I appreciate it. Thanks.